Michigan State bows out of the Big Ten tournament in an 88-84 loss to UCLA. First off, you have to give credit to UCLA in this one. They shot the ball extremely well, 56% from the field, 48% from three. But you also have to say that this is probably one of the worst defensive performances Michigan State has had all year, maybe the worst one, because Michigan State could not guard at all from three. They could not guard the slip that UCLA did multiple times. There's multiple times where UCLA in this game was wide open from three. And to UCLA's credit, obviously you need to make those shots, and they did. They made a lot of Tyler Perry was a big part of it. Eric Daly played very, very well. Tyler Bilodeau was injured in this game, only played 10 minutes, 5 points. Hopefully he's fine. Sounds like he's not going to play in their game against Purdue today, but hopefully he'll be fine for the NCAA tournament. But you have to fully on give credit to UCLA. Donovan Dent continues to play really the way that a lot of people thought he was going to go. There was a lot of expectations for Donovan Dent this year, and truly this game, his last game as well, first triple-double ever in Big Ten history. He's been playing kind of the All-American type player a lot of people thought he was going to be. 23 points, 8 for 18 from the field, 3 for 5 from three. He's been struggling from three this year. I believe it was like 23%, something like that, coming into this game. 12 assists. He was great in this game, and Michigan State could not guard him whatsoever. That was the biggest reason why they were getting open shots, right? Is because UCLA could get into the paint whenever they wanted. And that's really going to cause, obviously, issues. That's going to cause Michigan State to collapse. That's going to allow UCLA to get wide open threes from the corner. And guys like Sky Clark were able to hit them consistently. There's also a couple other guys that really kind of came in, played pretty well. You have to also mention, obviously, Xavier Booker didn't play very well at all. 14 minutes, fouled out, didn't score any points. It was truly Michigan State that really couldn't stop the starting lineup for UCLA. The starting UCLA lineup really destroyed Michigan State for the most part. And I think that's the biggest concerning thing of this is that not only Michigan State struggled defensively, they went down at half by, I think, 11 points. And that's really been the biggest thing for Michigan State when they've lost games, right? Like outside kind of the Duke game where they kind of control things for the most part, when they've gone down pretty big at half, they've been able to fight their way back, but it's been a little bit too much. And while MSU does have, I believe, the most comeback wins by any Big Ten team, which I believe is 7. If they go down by double digits, usually that doesn't end very well going at halftime. And that was because UCLA not only shot the ball very well, I thought UCLA played very well defensively. I thought for the most part, Michigan State, especially in the first half, couldn't get anything going offensively. MSU had some issues turning over the ball. It did have 12 turnovers in this game compared to 8 to UCLA. I thought in the second half, Michigan State did look a little bit better, per se. I thought that had to do with guys like Teng. Sorry, hit shots, had 13 points, 3 for 8 from the three. That's what you're going to get from Teng, right? You need a guy that can come off the bench. You need a guy that can shoot the ball effectively. He's done that for Michigan State throughout this year, continuing to do that this game as well. Carson Cooper, I thought, had a pretty solid game overall. 13 points, 4 for 7 from the field. I would love to see Michigan State go to him more, especially when Tyler Bilodeau got injured. But obviously at that point, Michigan State was down double digits, and it really seemed like every time Michigan State was kind of really finding a way back in the game, UCLA hit a shotgun and won, hit a three, and really kind of continued to keep away from Michigan State for the most part. Jeremy Fears, I thought was good in this game. 21 points, 2 for 3 from three, 13 assists. He's going to be the guy that's going to continue to be the consistent one. He's going to be the guy that's going to continue to give you great games. Now, there's also parts of this game where I didn't think he was that great, right? Because it seemed like every time Michigan State had momentum, there's either a turnover or a foul or some sort of issue that Michigan State had that just gave it back to UCLA, or maybe a mistake, because there's multiple mistakes in this game, especially when it was a 2-point game with about 37 seconds left. I know he's a freshman, but Jordan Scott ends up following Tyler Perry, an 86% free throw shooter. You were only down 2, and you would have got the ball back with probably about 7 to 10 seconds left if you got stopped. Now, obviously, if they score, the game is basically over, but at that point, because you followed him, yes, it is a 1-on-1 situation, I believe, at that point. But like an 86% free throw shooter, like the chance he misses that's going to be pretty slim, right? So obviously that was a mistake. You kind of realized how he thought that that was a mistake, the way he reacted, and unfortunately, MSU obviously falls by 4 points. You also have to mention Cohen Carr. He hit his 1-3 on this day, 12 points, 8 rebounds, a lot of dunks, still going to be a lot of dunks. Obviously, like his mid-range shot is continuing to struggle. That's something that he's going to have to continue to work on. Jackson Kohler, 7 points. Need a little bit more from you, Jackson. I think you need a little bit more from these seniors, right? And I know it's difficult to say just because, like, hey, like after your next loss, it's over, right? We need kind of the seniors to really step up, and it's not just them, right? It's not just those guys that need to continue to step up. Michigan State just needs to play better. You cannot allow 88 points and expect to win in these games. MSU scored 84, but you just can't give up 44 points in a half. That's just not something that Michigan State can afford, and that defense is going to have to be better. And I think it has to really do with the coaching staff making better adjustments. You also could see that Tom Izzo was kind of done with coaching because he was just sitting there when UCLA was just making threes. Like he wasn't getting upset anymore. I think this is going to be a little bit of motivation going into March, but this also bring up a fact that people are nervous, right? A lot of people are kind of hopeful after the Michigan game because you were competing with them for 30, 35 minutes. And you can truly see the height of the ceiling, but you can maybe see the floor of it as well with the type of performance like this. But one other bright spot that I really want to get to before I end is Trey Fort. He played 13 minutes, 8 points, 3 for 5 from the field. This is the type of play that a lot of people thought we were going to get from Trey Fort this year. A lot of people thought he was going to be kind of this guy that will be able to shoot you back into the games. And to his credit, even though he struggled shooting throughout the season, he hit his shots. And I thought Trey Ford played pretty well. And you have to give him credit. I don't know necessarily he's going to be a guy that's going to probably be playing minutes in the NCAA tournament because Tom Izzo doesn't typically just throw people in. But I think he realized that, hey, Michigan State, especially in this game, needed to hit shots. And he gave Trey Ford an opportunity. And I thought Trey Ford played well. And not only that, but like Trey Ford made a mistake and Tom Izzo did not instantly pull him. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if that means that Trey Ford's going to play in the NCAA tournament. I also think this game really showed you that Dan Wojcik probably won't be playing, and that, in my opinion, he shouldn't be playing, right? Because there was one point in the second half, I believe, with like 8 minutes left to go, Jeremy Fears got pulled, and Dan Wojcik did not play. It was Jordan Scott that was running the one. I think this is something that should have happened a long time ago, right? I don't think Dan Wojcik is going to be a player that could truly play in the NCAA tournament in a close game. And I think Tom Izzo kind of realized in this one that, hey, he couldn't go to Dan Wojcik. He had to go to someone else. And it was only like a minute or two, but I think at this point, that's just kind of the way things need to be, is you need to be able to play like Jordan Scott the one for like a few minutes, give Jeremy Fears a rest and go from there. But yeah, very, very disappointing for Michigan State in this one. MSU's really has kind of struggled in the Big Ten tournament. I saw a stat that I believe like they've gone to maybe the Big Ten tournament like once in the last like 9-10 years, at least the championship. Been a little while. But that doesn't mean MSU can't go on a run. That doesn't mean MSU can't make noise in March. Obviously, because of this game, fans are going to be a little bit more upset about it. You don't have the 2 seed locked up. I still think Michigan State does get the 2 seed. Even if you do get a 3 seed, you still put yourself in a decent situation. But we're going to see how MSU responds. And I think the seniors are going to need to respond. I think MSU is going to have to play much better, especially defensively, because if you give up 48% from 3, 56% from the field, you're not going to win a ton of games. And March, you can't afford that. And I think MSU will be ready. But let me know your thoughts in the comments Are you nervous? Do you think MSU's going to go on and run? Do you think it's over at this point? I've been seeing a lot of stuff of like, hey, there needs to be serious conversations. I don't think that's it whatsoever. Michigan State obviously has had a good season. They're going to be a 2 or 3 seed, and let's see what happens in the NCAA tournament. But thanks for tuning in and tune in to the next episode.